Hi again, it's me. Hey guys, Marco here, and welcome to episode number 8 of Let's Talk. I know, we're gonna skip the whole awkward interaction. Marco, where have you been? I'm back, blah blah blah. You guys know the drill. I take a hiatus, I come back, give you guys some videos, and I try to keep on track for another little bit. So, it's probably just gonna be the same thing again, but this time we're gonna try to keep it consistent. But in all honesty, you may be asking yourself, Marco, to what do we owe the pleasure to reopen our arms up to you and for you to give us these wonderful videos once again? Well, I just came back and just recently finished my run at TIFF 2019, the Toronto International Film Festival. For all those people that didn't know what TIFF stands for or may have just learned what it stands for. You know who I'm talking to. So yeah, I thought to myself, I can talk about all these movies and make a video solely representing that and like my experience at TIFF, or I could just bring back my favorite series that I ever did on this channel, the whole Let's Talk, and just infuse this into it and kind of reignite the show, bring it back, baby. So that's what we're doing. We're bringing it back. I'm recapping TIFF 2019, and then this is hopefully going to become another reoccurring series. So with all that being said, let's get into the festival. So this was my 4th year returning to TIFF. The first year when I started, I just saw the one movie. It was kind of just an introduction to me. I really wanted to get into it, but just dipping my feet in the water. The next 2 years, I saw, I think, 3 to 5 or 6 movies, kind of in between that. This year, though, I had said I've done it small. Let's go big. And I saw 10 movies. I bought a giant package. And I just wanted to see as many, as I think, cool and interesting movies as I could. And from what I'm going to tell you, I think I chose some pretty damn good ones. And I'm very happy with my selections. But to speak about the festival as a whole, or film festivals as a whole, I think they're so much fun, not for just people like me that love the movies and love the film industry and everything along that, and seeing obviously seeing these releases so early sometimes and seeing the stars, that's awesome as well. But it's the whole feeling of the togetherness a community can have, and I don't know, it's something that I think everybody should go to, whether you're a huge movie buff or a cinephile, whatever they call them, or whether you just see them recreationally. I saw a lot of people that were both there at the festival. A lot of people that were just casual moviegoers and some hardcore moviegoers, and everyone found enjoyment in it. So I don't know. I think a film festival is something that everybody should do at one point in their life. Just give it a whirl. Even if it's not a premiere, try to get the premieres because they're a lot better. But if you can see them, see the directors talk, I don't know, it makes you appreciate films and the whole industry so much more. So, with all that being said, that's my little pitch for film festivals, and especially TIFF. But let's get into the movies that I saw this year. Yeah, why don't you do that? So to start out the circuit, I saw a little film by director Rian Johnson, director of Looper, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, with my good buddy Johnny. But we not only saw the movie, but we went to the premiere. So it was the world premiere of it. Rian Johnson, all the cast, Daniel Craig, Toni Collette, Chris Evans, everybody was there. It was awesome. But just to recap Knives Out as a whole, guys, when this movie comes out, check it out because it is insanely good. Insanely good. I think my exact words to my buddy Johnny afterwards were, the year is still young, and yeah, 2019 has been the best year for movies, but this may just be the best movie I've seen all year, and will be the best movie I've seen all year, or at the rest of this circuit, or the rest of this festival. It was that good. So definitely check it out when it's there. It's fun. It's a modern take on the whodunit, which I love. It's that great banter back and forth. Rian Johnson directed the hell out of it. The sets look beautiful. The script is incredible. It's just, do yourselves a favor and check it out. And it was a great way to start off the festival and to take Johnny, my friend who's never been to the festival, I think going to the premiere was a great way to introduce him to this world, and I think you had a great time, so I'm happy you did. We'll go to more in the future, buddy. The following day, I returned to see another little film called A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. Tom Hanks, the whole Fred Rogers, not Steve, I was going to say Steve Rogers, the whole Fred Rogers kind of biopic-inspired film. And I thought it was great. Again, I never grew up a lot, I guess, with Fred Rogers. I knew of him. I had seen a few episodes here and there, but I never had that connection that so many people did. And what was the biopic that came out? Won't You Be My Neighbor? Like, I never saw it. I wasn't super drawn into it, or even this movie, I wasn't super drawn into it just from the concept alone. But when I saw the trailer or like little glimpses of it, and I saw that it was going to be like a really heartfelt, heartwarming movie, I was like, you know what? I'm in for this. I like the talent behind it. And I walked out and I had the exact same feelings. My heart was my heart grew so many sizes. I think that one relates back to the director, who I thought did a great job, but the writers as well, because they took this story and they didn't necessarily make it about Mr. Rogers. You know what I mean? Like, he's a person that helps the main character through a time in his life. And I think that was an interesting way to handle it, so that people like me that, you know, never necessarily grew up with him, could feel the inspiration that he gave to people through this main character's eyes, if that makes sense. It was a really smart way to do it. I appreciated it. Made my heart grow warm, and, you know, that's really all I could ask. It was a great time, so check it out when it comes out. The following day, I grabbed my buddies Mike and Matt, and we went all the way back to Toronto to watch both Marriage Story and Bad Education. Let's start with Marriage Story, because this movie punched me in the heart multiple times. I was the punching bag. And Noah Baumbach, Scarlett Johansson, Adam Driver, just bah, 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 bah. It's it's a movie that's so hard to watch, but you can't help but watch it because it's so good. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's about marriage, it's about divorce, it's about family, it's about, you know, people, their connection together, and it's so real. And it's so beautiful, and it goes from being beautiful to being heartbreaking, and being heartbreaking to being beautiful, and you just understand the characters so well. Noah Baumbach, like, if he doesn't win, you know what, I do like Rian Johnson for script, but, like, if these guys aren't shown the nominations and the credits that they deserve, then I will be fuming, because they deserve it. Same with ScarJo and Adam Driver. They were incredible. If they're not nominated or they don't win, I'm throwing fists. I'm throwing an uproar. But Marriage Story was definitely one of my favorite movies of the festival. It hurt, but it was the kind of good hurt, if that makes sense. That kind of, you just need a big hug after the movie's done. And then following that, Mike, Matt, and I, we grabbed a quick little bite, then we headed straight back into the theater to watch Bad Education, the new Corey Finley movie about the whole teacher scandal, money being, you know, I don't want to spoil anything if you don't know the story, but it's a really interesting story. And overall, I thought Bad Education was actually really good. For me, the only small complaint that I have is that I didn't know the story or the premise, I guess. In general, I just had seen Corey Finley's name, Hugh Jackman, and I was like, Corey Finley directed Thoroughbreds. It was one of my favorite movies of 2018. I'm gonna check this one out. I think it was 2018, right? I believe Thoroughbreds was 2018. But he directed Thoroughbreds. I love that movie. I'm checking this out no matter what it's about or who's in it. And it was just icing on the cake that, you know, Ray Romano, Hugh Jackman, all these other people were in it. But my only little complaint about Bad Education was that not knowing the story, the first 15, 20 minutes really dragged on. I was like, sitting in my theater seat, where is this going? Like, I'm seeing all these pieces of the puzzle being thrown up on the screen, but I don't know what's happening, if that makes sense. And then once it hit that 20-25 minute mark and you understood, oh, like shit's going down now, that's when I was on board, and I really enjoyed it from that point on. But the first little bit, if you don't know the story, you can feel the pace, or you can feel the slowness. But other than that, I think it picked up for the end. Corey Finley did a hell of a job directing, and Hugh Jackman is really good in this. Like, really, again, all these movies that I'm listing so far, Knives Out, the whole cast is great. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, Tom Hanks was great. The whole cast as well. Marriage Story, Bad Education, all these movies, great performances. So far, at this point, I've seen 4 movies in the festival, and I can't say I've really been super disappointed with any of them. So, I consider it a plus. Plus, plus, plus. The following day, I returned again with Matt and Mike, my comrades in this long TIFF adventure. And we saw Ford v Ferrari, the biopic about the, what was it? The Race Le Mans? I believe it's called. Is it the Race Le Mans? Is it the race? It's the 24 Hours of Le Mans in France in 1966. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Letterboxd. But we saw this, James Mangold's new film with Christian Bale, Matt Damon, and I thought it was a lot of fun. It reminded me a lot of Rush, who directed that. Ron Howard with Chris Hemsworth, Daniel Bruhl, that whole car rivalry, that whole scenario. But again, it reminded me a lot of that because, yeah, cars are very prominent in it, and from someone who doesn't necessarily love cars, you know, to the extent that some people do, I was able to connect so much to Rush because of the characters, the story, how intriguing everything was, and I feel this was a lot of the same thing. The racing scenes, again, I'm not super into the cars, but they're enthralling to watch. Again, see this on the biggest screen possible, loudest speakers, because I remember we were sitting closer to the front of the theater, and I would just kind of grab the side of my seat and be like, oh my god, like, I can feel the cars revving right through the entire theater right now. It's a lot of fun. It's a great story, great performances. Once again, Christian Bale is just phenomenal. Matt Damon is great too, and they arguably have one of the funniest fight scenes in a movie I've seen in a long time. So check it out. Do yourself a favor, check out Ford v Ferrari because it's a lot of fun. Even if you're not a motorhead, check it out because I feel like you'll enjoy it very much. Following that, I said goodbye to my friends Matt and Mike, and I saw Joker Tutsu. I saw it by myself. And this to me was one of my most anticipated of the circuit, just because everything that had been talked about before, the R rating, the fans were demanding an R-rated Joker. Joaquin Phoenix, we thought was brilliant, brilliant casting for it. But how are all these pieces going to come together? And I will say this, it was very, very good. Is it? I don't think it's perfect. There's a few things, maybe not things that I would have changed, but there are a few things that I feel like could have been done a little more better, mainly in terms of the script. Some of the dialogue didn't necessarily flow with me as well, but overall, I thought this was ambitious, and I loved how ambitious it was. Todd Phillips went for it. Same with Joaquin, all the creative team behind this, they went for it. I applaud them for that. I do, because again, like Logan, when a lot of people said Logan was the new take in this comic book genre, you know, making not making it grittier like The Dark Knight, but it's taking these characters and these things that we know and turning them on their heads in what we were to expect. Right? Like, you see the Joker and you think, like this goofy kind of character. This is not a goofy movie. Like, this is a disturbing and frankly quite terrifying movie. And I loved it because of that. The score is haunting. I mean, like, it's something I want to listen to right now because it's that good. Joaquin Phoenix is incredibly scary in the role, and just to see his fall into the Joker like character at the it's crazy. I got to give credit to Todd Phillips too. I think he did a great job directing the cinematography. Again, it's got that chilling, just again, when you see it, you'll understand everything I'm saying, but I don't want to spoil anything for you because I want you to go in like I did and not know much. But if you can push aside all these, I don't know, expectations you have of, oh, it's gonna be better than Heath Ledger, I want him to be like Jared Leto, but also Mark Hamill, blah blah. Throw all that aside. Forget that this movie is even based on a DC character, and just go into this world, fall in, I don't know, in a trance of how hypnotic and, I don't know, disgusting and disturbing this movie is, and just follow this character along his path, and I'm sure you'll have a great time, just like I did. So after 4 days straight of going to the festival, I decided in my schedule when I was grabbing my tickets to kind of just pace myself out and not overbear myself with so many movies. So I came back a few days later to see a double feature once again of Lucy in the Sky and How to Build a Girl. Now, I was drawn to Lucy in the Sky because of the talent behind it, especially Natalie Portman. I think she is incredible. And out of all the movies I saw, I think this is one of the hardest ones to talk about. I'm not going to lie, because there's, how do I say this? There's a lot that I liked in this movie. I'm trying to not spoil anything while I say this. There's a lot that I really liked in this movie, particularly the main idea that, you know, someone, Natalie Portman in particular, coming back from space and realizing that the world is so small compared to what she just saw. Oh man, I had a big tickle in my throat. Give me a sec. Oh, when you're just about to talk and your throat's like, no, you can't do that right now. You need to drink water. You need to calm down. Woo, let's calm down. Back to where my train of thought was. Yeah, that whole idea of Natalie Portman coming back from space and realizing how small the world actually is, and that whole mental psyche of how she just, nothing will ever compare to space again. That was by far the best thing about this movie, and the points where it focuses on that and it really delves into that, the whole psyche, again, like that character study, like the movie The Joker was. I think this movie's awesome, but there are certain aspects, and I guess certain aspects that the movie is loosely based on. Lucy based on. That's where it kind of loses it for me, and some of it gets a little too hard, or not too hard, but too over the top, I think. And some of it's a little, I don't know, some of it didn't blend very well. Overall, I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a very ambitious movie that tried a lot of great ideas, but not everything worked maybe the way they wanted it to. I really do like it. I think Natalie Portman is phenomenal in it, so I would say check it out for, you know, a cool attempt and an interesting idea. Just don't expect best movie of the year. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. And then following that, I went straight to another theater and saw How to Build a Girl, the new Bernie Feldstein, Feldstein, however you want to say it. It's the new coming of age movie about a girl living in London, or not London. She was living in Wolverhampton, but how she kind of builds herself, like the title says. And like Lucy in the Sky, this one's a little hard to talk about just because I liked it. It was good. You know, it's your coming of age movie for you know, kind of this year's demographic. I like a lot of things in it. I think Bernie's really good. She does a great performance. The supporting cast, for the most part, is pretty good. Chris O'Dowd has a great little cameo in it. So, yeah, Chris O'Dowd, good for him. It takes place in the UK, which I love. But you know, it's your standard coming of age movie. It's really good. The performances, and in particular, I'll say, what's her dad's name? He's from the world. He's from the World's End. What is it? Patty, right? Yeah, Patty Considine. Considine from Hot Fuzz, The World's End. He was great as the dad, and her brother in the movie. I thought he was great too. But overall, it was a fun movie. I'm glad I saw it, and I think you should check it out. It's it's a good time in the theater. Yeah. And then my final day at the festival, day number 6 for me, concluded with 2 films: Jojo Rabbit and Waves. I know, quite the way to end off the festival. Starting with Jojo Rabbit, I thought this was awesome. Again, oh my god, I need water. Too much talking, man. Too much talking. Okay. This actually won the Girls People's Choice Award at TIFF, which is like the people's vote for best movie at TIFF. And I can see why, because it's, I don't know, unlike other movies, it's not solely drama. It's drama fleshed out with great comedy, and I feel like the general public loves that kind of stuff. And this, for me, was a movie where I went in, I knew Taika Waititi's work, or not as much as some people, but I like what he did with Thor. I want to check out some of his other movies because of that and because of this. And I knew we were in for a good time, an entertaining time. And you're in for an entertaining time for the first little bit of the movie, and then as soon as, let's say, the drama kicks in, you realize how good this movie actually is. Like, it's a great, you're along for the ride, and then as soon as shit happens, you're like, oh man, this is gonna be even better than I thought it was. And that's pretty much Jojo Rabbit. It blends the comedy and the drama so well. It's one of those movies it's one of those movies that by the end, it feels like Taika Waititi came out himself and just gave me a big hug and was like, it's gonna be okay, guys. Everything's fine. These are the kind of movies that we need, especially in the world right now where all this hate's happening, all this unjustified hate. Jojo Rabbit comes around and it's like, nope, boom. This is the world that we should be living in, and this is how people should react to this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's a satire showing how stupid the times were, and it's a lot of fun. Definitely check it out when it comes out. And then to finish off my circuit, I saw a little movie directed by Trey Edward Schultz called Waves. And for me, this was one that I didn't know much about. All I knew was, hey, it's director Trey Edward Schultz. He had directed a movie called It Comes at Night. I had not seen it, but I heard really good things about it. So I was like, let's check it out. I need a 10th film to fill up my list of films. Let's see Waves. And man, this movie hit me hard. I was not expecting it to be this good. I really wasn't. Trey Edward Schultz directed the hell out of this. He's one of these directors that I'm like Corey Finley when I saw Thoroughbreds. I'm going to keep my eye out for it because this guy's talented. It's a movie with incredible performances like Marriage Story, real performances. Excuse me, the water! Jesus Christ! It's a movie like Marriage Story where the performances are so real, the story is so real, and it takes so many cool turns with it, so many different approaches with it that you appreciate. You're like, where's this going? For the first, I'd say 2 acts, because one, it's directed the hell out of, the story is enthralling, and the acting is insane. I felt like I was gonna throw up. Like, it was making me sick because of how real and how depressing this was. Once that, or once it kicks into its 3rd act and it stops with this boom, 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 nonstop kind of drama and thriller-esque elements. It takes a different approach from there on out, which took me a while to warm up to because my heart rate had to calm down. But once you did, you kind of understood the picture as a whole, and you're like, okay, so this is not just looking at this one element, it's looking at kind of the whole dynamic of what happens in this kind of event. And it's something I really liked. I can see how some people may not like it as much as me, but I thought this was great and quite the way to end off the circuit. I'm not gonna lie. It was, I don't know, it was, this one wrapped up everything that I love about filmmaking, like Jojo Rabbit, like Knives Out, everything from great directing, great writing, great acting, seeing all that in a creative, unique kind of presentation through the director. That's why I go to the movies, and Waves was no exception to that, I guess. So I would say check it out. I really liked it. Good stuff. But yeah, if you want to know the full kind of list of my in-depth thoughts, everything that I thought about these movies, maybe from best to worst, whatever I thought, I'll leave the link to my letterbox down below where I kind of jot down my notes and kind of give my immediate thoughts of what I think about a movie when it comes out. So check out the letterbox, give me a follow. I do appreciate it. So that again wraps up my festival. Watching that many movies in such a small period of time, it's hard, surprisingly, but it's actually a lot of fun. And if once you get into the groove, it's really good. And by the end of it, it was bittersweet. Like, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to watch 2 movies a day anymore. Like, sad Marco. But thank you, TIFF. Thank you to all the volunteers, all the filmmakers that make this week possible, all the people organizing it. You put on one hell of a circuit, one hell of a festival. I had a great time. So thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, from a member who's been going for the past few years, just to show that I appreciate everything that you guys do. And I'm sure everybody else that goes to these festivals, whether it be TIFF, whether it be Telluride, whether it be, the Sundance Film Festival, whatever, we appreciate it. So on behalf of myself, and I'm sure everyone else that went, thank you for making this year so great. And I eagerly look forward to next year. So I'll be back. Don't worry. So that wraps up kind of the Let's Talk element. You guys know the drill. Right after our Let's Talk segment, we go into your fan questions or your fan thoughts, whatever. We're going back in. They're 7 months old, but we're doing it. We're bringing them back. My good buddy Lucas writes, what's your favorite restaurant? There are a lot of great restaurants out there, but if I had to dwindle down to one, I think you know which one. Dough Shack. Nobody else is going to get that, but that's what I do around here. I wait 7 months to hit a punchline, and I think it's worth it. Yeah, so I think that wraps up today's episode. It's I've been talking for a while, and but it's therapeutic. I'm losing my mind here. No, it's therapeutic to talk to you guys. I want to bring this back, as I said, do it as either a weekly or bi-weekly kind of thing, because I enjoy it. And as I said, this was my favorite thing to do in terms of releasing content, because as much as I like making my short films and stuff along those lines, they just take time. Like, I got to come up with the idea, I got to write a script, I got to film, I got to edit, and this is a lot easier to do that, and it's more a consistent basis. So in terms of a consistent upload or a consistent video to bring out, these are always my favorite to do. Hope you guys enjoy them. We're going to keep them rolling. I got some fun ideas coming up with some special guests, hopefully, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, we're going to take one more sip of water here. I'm just going to finish taking the drink before the camera cut off, and then maybe after post I'll decide whether it works or not. Oh shit! I'll decide whether or not it works in post to put them together. But now that it's spilled, that's just fine. I'm just gonna leave it in. We're gonna take a drink, be hydrated, finish this video off in style with dignity. You guys know the drill. Leave your comments, leave your questions down below. I'll probably answer them in the next video. Again, I'm excited to be doing this again. Other than that, though, I'm Marco Pereira, and until next time, wait for it. Oh, wait for it. Ciao for now.